What's up, guys? Welcome. Today we had the Kenny Bailey on.
The magician himself. This is the sixth episode of the Winners Effect already, which is pretty is pretty big accomplishment for us. And yeah, we got Kenny Bailey. This is a great episode. He got to share with us kind of his mentality with training, how he became one of the greatest of all time in his sport. And I just think that there's a lot of gems in this episode,
Yeah,
a lot of knowledge, and I thought it was amazing. Kenny
yeah,
was great to talk to, great guy, very personable, and yeah, I thought it was
yeah.
amazing.
There's a lot of like just crazy gems in the whole episode. Like every spot, he just drops some cool quote that then you could just quote and use it as a senior quote afterwards. It's really good.
So watch our episode.
The Winners Effect Podcast with Ben Edwards and Noah Johnson.
Kenny Bailey, I believe you grew up in Belgium. What was it like growing up? Like what sports did you play and kind of what was your upbringing like?
Yeah, Belgium, where I'm from, is a small town. It's called Bellem, Bellem. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere, to be really honest. And there's not much biking here, and like every other kid, I would just do a traditional sports. I started doing soccer when I was 6, and then I always saw and knew my dad was a motor trials rider, but I haven't really seen it in life until the age of 9. It's where he bought a motorbike again and started doing his thing, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I love joining him on his motor during his motor trials competitions, and I saw these other kids riding bikes. And that's how it started for me to get into trials, and then I combined trials and soccer from the age of 9 till 12. And at one day, at 12 years old, I said, "Look, I want to ride trials. I don't want to quit soccer." And my whole family and my coaches thought I was crazy because um, they said I was very talented in soccer. But I just didn't care. I wanted to do something individual, more free, more um, creative, and trial biking just gave me that platform. And from then on, from the age of 9, we just started honestly touring the entire world. We were doing these world championships all over the place. Every summer, every spring break, every holiday, every weekend was dedicated to compete or going on training camps with together with my brother, my parents. We had an RV. We traveled all over Europe. So I didn't have that traditional upbringing where you know people go to church or do these traditional sports every weekend. Everything was trials, 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 like every single day. Every conversation at the dining table was about trials. Yeah, that's all we ever talked about. It's all we ever did.
That's awesome.
Wow. So did you start actually biking then at 9, or did you like already have a knowledge on how to ride at least before?
No, yeah, over here riding bikes is very common. So we I went to school when I was 6 years old, just riding normal
Mm.
commuter bike. But the trials part, just I started at the age of 9, yes. But my brother, he was 4 years younger, so he started at the age of 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were training together. Luckily, our dad was in construction, so he had this, uh, yeah, you know, warehouse, which it looked more like a dump yard,
Hmm.
full of pallets and forklifts and bricks and you name it, and wooden like beams, and so we had it all at the growing up. So we were just driving the forklift around, building obstacles,
That's sweet.
pallets, making cubes, welding stuff. So if I look back at it now, talking about it was almost picture perfect because we needed that because over here where we live, it's absolutely flat. It's a perfect country for road cycling, but I mean, definitely not great for trials. There's no rocks, no boulders, no elevation, nothing. So was just perfect.
I
That's
see.
cool.
I got a good one. Wait, so if it's like this picture perfect setup for trials biking and you've been like you said, talking about it all the time, starting as a kid, how did you not get like bored of it? Like, this is my life. I want to do something different after like 4 years.
I think it's in my nature to once I get going onto something, I can't stop.
Hmm.
And still today, I mean, I competed till the age of 37, and from the age of 9 till the age of 37, I went nonstop every single day, no exceptions, always the mind and the eye on the prize, and just go forward and don't look back, and always do better than yesterday. And that's what I like, and that's what I did and what I still do technically, even whenever it's in business or sports. But it's and the other thing I always said is trials is so difficult. If you don't do it for 2 days, you kind of lose already the feeling. It's so technical that it's kind of an addiction to you always want to keep that level. Like I say, you want to do better than yesterday. So
Mhm.
it's never really boring because it's always really, really hard to do it.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you said that since you were 9, you were kind of incredibly focused on this professional career in athletics that you have ahead of you. Did you maintain your any focus on education, or was that kind of just put to the side, or what was that like for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't the perfect student because I was daydreaming and looking out the window more than I was paying attention in school. Yeah, I'm not a great example for my son. I hope he never hears this. But I mean, I was so passionate and so driven to, become the best in the world. And I also knew that in trials, you can make a lot of money in it, but if you played it right commercially, you could do shows, exhibitions, travel, ride for Red Bull one day. And
Mhm.
I mean, Red Bull didn't even exist back then, but it was all these things that made me believe that I could really do something with this. And that's also the reason I went so hard in my pursuing that dream, because yeah, nobody showed me how to do it. So already always had to do it myself, and find things out the hard way sometimes.
So did you go to university then, or right after high school? I'm not sure what you call it, but right after high school, did you just go all in cycling?
Yeah, after high school, I went all in on cycling. So it was hard because at the age of 16, I was already traveling to Japan. I was doing some shows left and right, making a few $100, and then the next day on Monday, I had to go to school and sit and pay attention. And I don't know, maybe I was in the wrong class, or the wrong, you know, I was in the wrong thing that didn't give me enough. They also didn't know what I was going to do in my life, because nobody, like I said, nobody. I wasn't like a soccer player. There were some soccer players in my school, and they were playing for the first division already at the youth, in the youth categories, and they got all the support. But as a trials rider, it's not Olympic, it's not really official. It was hard to stand my ground and get the support and the respect and the empathy from teachers. So it was kind of hard. So I kind of was a rebel against that. Um, but I also knew if I don't succeed at school, if I don't go to university or whatever, I'm gonna have to go really hard and dedicate my life in on something else. And that was trials, and that was my own marketing, my own business, my own management. And that's where I learned to, school of life almost, is to just travel, speak different languages, figure it all out. And it made me who I am today. And I'm really grateful for the path that I took.
Wow, that's crazy. So, when did you get your first then like brand deal sponsorship? I mean, if you've been riding, was it like pretty early? Then was
Yeah.
there ever a point where like a couple deals didn't fall through and you're like, oh shoot, like I might have to go work at McDonald's or something? Or was it
Yeah.
always just
No,
you got it?
I think for as a backup point, from a backup point of view, I always had something. My dad was in construction, so I always knew I could work for him potentially and take over the company because it was something I was already doing in my off time to make an extra dollar. In every summer holiday, I would join him for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, to go and work with him, building houses and whatnot. But so I had kind of had a backup plan. Um, but yeah, it was. Sorry, I kind of lost the point of the question here.
Yeah, no, that was good. Then I was also wondering, when did you first get your first brand sponsorships then? Were they
Oh
really
yeah,
early on?
yeah, very early on. I think my first sponsor, they were small sponsors, but I think I was around. So as soon as I started trials, I always had bike sponsors. I don't like since the age of 10 or 11, brands were giving me bikes because I was winning competition. So, and then I think my first monetary support, probably around the age of 15, 16 already,
Mm,
getting, just small budgets like travel support, but at least it worked out and paid the bills.
yeah.
But I was doing shows, like I said, I was doing shows for, man, all these events that I've done. I can't even small fairs, indoor, outdoor, kids schools, and anywhere they needed some entertainment, I was doing shows, and that was also paying already when I was 13, 14 years old. But that was all set up through like a nonprofit. But there
Mm.
was some money coming in, but not the big not the big money, not at all.
And then, so when did you get to a point where you knew that you could completely rely on trial cycling as your income and not and know that you don't have to do any other jobs or anything like that?
um like I said, I was daydreaming all the time, especially around the age of 16, 17, where you're like, okay, what's going to be next? Because in 2 years, I got to choose where I'm going to bring my, what direction I'm going to go to. And I think it all, the whole puzzle kind of fell in place around the age of 19 when I signed my first deal with a professional road cycling team.
Mm.
So there was it was a government funded road cycling team where they kind of supported cyclocross riders, road cyclists, and me as the black sheep almost. I can say the trials rider that got a salary from government for riding for this professional team. And because I had that support, I won the world championships as a first year elite rider right after that, and then I got the Red Bull deal at
Wow.
the age of at the age of 19. So it all went fast. And against all odds and against all predictions of my teachers, I was actually finally starting to make money. And a year later, I was no, not even a year later. I think I signed my deal with Red Bull at somewhere in October, and like in March the next year, I was already going on a trip to the other side of the world to Saudi Arabia to do shows for them. And ever then, it's been a roller coaster, and I'm still doing what I did back then, and I still can't believe. If you would have asked me 25 years ago what I would be if I would still be doing this, I would probably say yeah, that would be impossible. But here I am. I'm still doing it.
That's awesome.
Wow. Okay, so we saw that your nickname is the Magician.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I mean, other than obviously that you won a lot.
Uh, there's a guy. He's my idol. His name is Hans Ray. He's a Swiss German guy living in California
Hmm.
now. And I visited him in 2006, and we were doing a story, old school versus new school, and I was riding up all these boulders and jumping up and down, and he said, "Man, you're jumping up everything up. The best I could do at my peak was jump that stuff down." So he said, "Man, you're like a magician." So he wrote an article and about me, and I wrote one about him. And in that article, he mentioned he called me a magician. So people, kind of still remember that.
That's so
That's
sick.
awesome. I really like that
Got your
name.
nickname from someone that you looked up to.
Yeah, exactly. That was a yeah. that was a cool trip, and it shaped the rest of my career from meeting and riding with Hans, because he later on we had a good bond, and later on he introduced me to brands like GT bicycles, Adidas, and those were the one of the biggest deals in my career after, I can say, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question. So you said you started traveling around the world when you were young. How did you I'm sure there were a lot of a lot of distractions, whether it was women, partying, or whatever. How did you kind of stay focused to your craft and not get too caught up in all that? Or did you get caught up in all that?
No, not really. I think I was always like the very, it's almost autistic kind of
Mhm.
kid, that if I had some, very obsessive about training and sleeping, and they warned me. I had like a very good coach when I was a kid, from the age of 9 till 16, and he always warned me. He said, "Man, you know, watch out for those traps, because some people might come on your path, and if you get that good first girlfriend, she might talk you out of it, and she wants more
Mhm.
attention." And it definitely wasn't easy, and I had a few breakups with girls because they couldn't understand why I was so dedicated and focused on my craft.
I bet.
I couldn't blame them, because they just wanted to have fun and go out, but I was like, no, I gotta go train. You want to do this? No,
Mhm.
I have to go train. You want to do that? No, I need to sleep. So I can imagine that's pretty boring for a 16 or a 17-year-old girl.
Hmm.
But I always stuck to my mission, and I never, not even for a second, you know, let somebody else destroy that. Which is good. It's it's a great story, but sometimes at points it's also a little bit lonely, because
Mhm.
you're always doing the same thing over and over again. But yeah, it brought me to where I am now, and I'm still grateful for it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. That's cool. So we saw that your dad, then he did motorbike trials and you got into mountain bike trials. I know it's kind of
Yeah.
backtracking, but why mountain bike trials over motorbike trials?
Uh, my dad, and he kept my brother and I away from the motorbikes, because he was like, nah, if I have to buy you a bicycle, that's, what, back then, $2,000,
Hmm.
if and changing the tires maybe $50. But if he had to buy my brother and myself a motorbike each, that's like $10,000. And so, and also he was very right about it. Where we live, like I told you, there's no landscape for trials.
Hmm.
We could build it, like I said, for artificially for bicycle trials. For motor trials, you need terrain like big rocks. You need to live in Spain, big slopes, endless riding. We don't have that here. So he also knew that we would get way more out of our careers on a bicycle over on a motorbike. And
Wow.
he was absolutely right.
Some crazy foresight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad is a very rational man.
Yeah,
I
sounds
can
like
tell.
it.
So, okay, I gotta ask this real quick. It's kind of like diverting, but what's your favorite trophy back there? Because we can see most of them, and I want to know like what's your favorite competition you ever won?
Mm, it's hard to say, but there's one in there. I don't really know where it is, but I think it was the year. Man, I used to be really good at remembering dates, but I think it was 2000, 2000, 2001. I think 2000. So I was competing against my idols. I was 17 or 18 years old. I was competing against my idols, and it was four competitions. So the first three, I kind of, you know I sucked. It was hard because I was against 25, 27-year-old guys competing. Um, and then that last race in Czech Republic, I won. I won from all these pro riders that I looked up to, and they were it was two Spanish guys, and they were trying to beat each other. Like they were always fighting for the first place, first second, all year round in Spain in the World Championships. And then there I came the first year in Czech Republic, beating both of them, standing on top of the podium. I was like, couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was I beat my idols, and from that point on, I just knew that I had it in me to win more. And I even went harder, train more, never gave up.
Awesome. I'm curious as to kind of what your training regimen looks like. Is it mostly on the bike? Is there some weight training involved? Kind of what's the regimen look like?
Yeah, so when I used to compete a day, so towards the world championship, for example, or last say 4 weeks, I would train 3 times a day. So I would do one in the morning, core stability, waking up the body, um, do all these sort of exercises just to like muscle muscle prep, we call it. That's kind of what I did. And then the second training would be on a bike. So I would simulate like a trials competition. So it could be, so we have 5 sections, and whatever I was training all year long, isolated moves for to jump on an obstacle, for example. So I would maybe in January make it once out of 10 times. So 4 weeks before the competition, you want to do that first try every go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would link all these moves together. So I would integrate, one day I would integrate cardio. I would do like a longer trial session. Or the next day I would simulate like a competition and really work with a clock and go against time, because we only have 2 minutes for a section. So 2 minutes and a half, sorry. So I would simulate time and time awareness. And then the third training would be or gym or cardio. So I would do a road bike or mountain bike ride, or if it's a gym session, I would go in the gym and focus on explosive power, really short, explosive moves. And I was always, every day I would feel, okay, today I got to do more cardio, do more power, and always, after a while with experience, you can do that. But one thing is for sure, 1st of January, my eye was already on the World Championships on the third weekend in September.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a whole process of cardio, losing weight, getting stronger in the gym, more work on your weaknesses from the year before, stability, focus, mental preparedness, long distance rides, more explosive power, maybe more power. You need always like fine tuning until you arrive to that point where you taper and make sure that you are fit for that one competition. And that's kind of what I always did for 20 plus years.
Awesome.
That's
That
a
makes sense.
lot. Okay, this might be kind of a silly question, but how does the format of like a trials competition work then? And
In
then
a final, yeah, okay, right.
and then I was just gonna follow that up. And then do you guys get to like see the obstacle course like before, or is it just they throw you in there?
So yeah, we can walk it. So beforehand, so we walk for a world championship, for example. The first day we arrive there, we check the course, we walk it. Everything has tape and arrows. So there's 2 arrows pointing to each other. That makes it a gate. So you got to go through that gate. Your front and rear wheel has to pass it. When you pass it, that means you cleared that one gate. So you can't put your foot down. So every time you put your foot down, you lose actually. So you don't lose. So let me rephrase that. Every time you pass a gate, you win 10 bonus points. So in one section, a section is roughly in feet, it's 30 meters, so 90 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
But it zigzags and it goes from boulder to a log to all kind of obstacles. And each gate that you clear, you win 10 bonus points. So per section, you have 10 bonus points, so 60 total. So it's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Clearing a gate means you only touch the rubber of your tires. So as soon as your pedal touches the obstacle, you lean, you fall, you break the tape, you knock off the arrow, you don't get any points at all.
Hmm.
So it's very stressful. um, so you got 5 sections. So section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so, like I said, each section is roughly 90 feet long. And per section, you can win 60 bonus points. So section 1, you can win 60. Section 2, 3, 4, 5. In a quarterfinal for the World Championships, you got to do all 5 sections 3 times.
Wow.
So, but there's a lot of riders, so you need to warm up, queue in line until it's your turn to ride your section, go to the next section, and again, and then do it all over again. So in total, you'll be spending roughly 3 hours doing that. Plus warm up, it's 4 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
Then the semifinals, a lot of riders didn't make it. You go through to the semifinals. Same 5 sections, but they modified it. They made it harder, less run up, bigger gaps, bigger jumps, bigger obstacles, and then you got to do all of that twice.
Wow.
And then the next day it's the finals, same 5 sections, but they made it harder again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, bigger jumps, less run up. They add some tape. Sometimes it's the other way around. And then there's only 6 riders left. And then you go to the finals with 6 riders. Section 1, all 6 riders together. Then the next section, the next section, the next section. At the end of the day, they check who has the most bonus points, and that person is the winner.
Wow.
And it's not about style. It's not about how you do it. Just get over the obstacle. Don't put your foot down. Don't touch anything else than the pedals. Don't touch anything else than the rubber of your tires. And then that's the winner.
Wow, that's interesting.
Have you ever took
Yeah.
any like nasty falls in like a course then? Just trying
Yeah.
so hard.
I did in my hometown in 2012. So my city where I live, they invested quite heavily into this event, and my team was also producing it. So there was a lot of pressure on me because the money from the city, it's for me because I was the rider at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
There was thousands of people there who were all looking and waiting for me to be on the podium. And in the semifinals, around right before lunch, I flipped the bars because I had a puncture, and I broke my wrist and my elbow. Little did I know, I never broke anything. I didn't know what breaking feels. I just thought I had a sore hand. And my brother comes up to me, he's like, man, you gotta bite through this. You gotta ride the finals. It's happening in half an hour. I'm like, no, man, this hurts too much. I did the whole thing. The last section, I was crying from pain. Like I couldn't bear the pain anymore. Went to the hospital, and they say, hey, you have a fractured elbow and a broken scaphoid, as you can see here. I was like, all right, now I know what breaking something feels. But yeah, that was the nastiest fall and the most painful experience ever in my life.
I bet.
That'd be so bad. How did you do on that finals ride then with a broken elbow?
Third place.
Third
What?
place?
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
That's pretty good.
Doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But I still feel it today. When I want to do a push up, my wrist just doesn't go there anymore.
Oh,
So I think I kind of overdid it there. But you're young, stupid.
Yeah. I'm interested in, what would you say your biggest setback was, whether it was the injury you talked about or something else? What was kind of one of the biggest problems that you had to overcome to kind of get where you are today?
Yeah, for sure. That injury that made me. I mean, it's a silver lining. I made the best out of it. Because of that injury, I decided to focus less on competing and more on projects.
Mm.
which then gave me big deals with NBA, and decided to chase the American dream. And it kind of gave me more perspective to do something else
Hmm.
other than just competing and destroying my body.
Yeah.
But it was a rough year because all I knew was, and all I wanted to do was competing and being the best. And all of a sudden, an injury stops that. And that was hard. It was the first time I had an injury too. So that was definitely really hard. Other than that, what was, setbacks? I mean, there's a lot because every time you lose, when you're so motivated, so passionate about winning, and you've been doing it since the age of 9, all you want to do is win. But believe me, I've lost more than I've won, and so every little setback made me stronger. Then the injury was a big setback, and yeah. But there's a lot of things that I also had a burnout from living too fast towards the end of my competitive career. So there's a lot of setbacks, mainly small ones. I hadn't. I've been lucky enough not to have like a crazy injury where I'm like, almost paralyzed or something like that. Luckily, but as an athlete, I think you constantly have setbacks, but it's just the way how you deal with them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
makes sense. So you just mentioned like how you deal with them. How did you deal with them then when these came up? Like, what was your thought process after you lost a big competition to get right back on?
Um, very disappointed. Can only talk about losing and what you did wrong, and blaming yourself on how is that even possible, and I would do it 1,000 times in training, and why am I making that mistake in competition, and like really beating yourself up
Hmm.
to a point. So if the competition is on Sunday, to on Monday, all day you're miserable and you're questioning yourself, and have I not been training right, and have I, am I still, I'm not fit enough, I'm maybe too fat, all these questions. And then by Tuesday you're like, come on, man up, and then you go work again.
Hmm.
And then you look for confirmation by replicating that move where you made a mistake, and then telling yourself, see, I knew I can do it. And then makes you mentally stronger again. And the next time you have a competition, like, you're just, that mistake you made is never going to happen again. But then all of a sudden, before you know, you make another mistake, and that's ongoing and ongoing. And it's such a life lesson in competing. It's like they constantly put a mirror in front of you, and you think you're the best, you think you're ready, but then all of a sudden, boom, there's something that doesn't work. And but all of a sudden it does work, and then you're trying to find a pattern, like, why was I fit and ready and winning, and why wasn't I last time? And then it's your mental health, your personal situation, your training, your routine. Have I been sick before? And it's such a, yeah, training and competing is such a, it's almost science. And I really love that.
Awesome.
Wow. That was really good. Do you have anything good?
Yeah. So if we can switch courses a little bit now. So now you're retired, and it seems like you're posting a lot on social media. I'm just curious to kind of how you're making your money now, whether it's still with the sponsorships through posting on social media, or kind of how are you
Yeah.
making a living now?
Yeah. So trials in it's competitive form, the way I've done it for so long. And what brought bread on the table was actually also the reason why I think I wasn't making the most out of my commercial career, because there's a lot of trials riders out there like Danny McCaskill, Fabio
Mhm.
Widmer. They haven't touched, or I doubt they've ever seen a competition. They just don't compete, and they made their money. They make their money fully on social media and sponsorship deals. And early on, I realized, long time ago, I said, okay, competing is time consuming, doesn't pay the bills. Even if you win, it's great to have a title. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but once you have those titles, you still got to go out there to sponsors, and then they got to activate you, build, a brand around you. And I did that with Red Bull, and I've been such a good. I mean, we had such a great relationship, Red Bull and I. We go back 24 years almost, and been performing for them in 70 countries, doing shows. I got all these relationships with like the guys that were filling the racks back then, and that I was working with. They're now CEOs and general managers, and they respect a lot what I've done for them. And the other way around, I respect Red Bull a lot. So Red Bull is still part of the reason why I can still make a living out of this. And they still booked me last year. They booked me for the shows in Brussels, shows in Qatar. I had a show in Dubai, so it's just nonstop. It's such a big brand, so I can still make a living out of from that. Luckily, I kind of decided to not have too many side sponsors, co-sponsors anymore, because I can't really. I feel like I'm not in a position to fulfill all their needs, and so I still have Hyper bicycles and a small clothing brand, and Crank Brothers, the shoe brand, and then obviously Red Bull. So those guys make sure that I can still be a pro and be paid, and just be an ambassador for them, promote them, make videos, content, social media. I share my videos with my sponsors. They reshare it, and there's value in that.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest and my newest baby today is the Bentonville Bike Fest. So I founded it in 2019 when I was still competing, because I had the opportunity to do it, and I took it with two hands. But it was the hardest thing I've ever done, because there I am with this big opportunity, which requires all of my time, but I'm still competing. So I kind of juggled between founding a festival and competing for 2 years, which was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because all of a sudden there I am with daily calls and night shifts, because I'm in Europe, and US only start the calls at 4 p.m. They go till 11 p.m. and the next day I got 3 trainings planned. So it was absolutely hard. But somehow I managed, and then I gave up on competing. And at that time, Bike Fest was up and running, and now that is my full-time job. So with technology, I can say it's now my it takes 75% of my time. I took 25% off, and also the brand is made. Spend a lot of time in creating the brand, establishing it, showing people what the format is. So I always say, I tell people, for the last 5 years, I kind of lived under a rock again. That same mentality of that vision of I want to be the best that I had from competing, I translated that into producing the Bike Fest.
Wow.
And every day, nonstop emails, contracts, concepts, contracts, talent, creative ideas, bands. I have a great team now that helps me, but it's still like that same mentality of just never give up. Try to put the best festival there is, put that on a map, and every year we try to do better. And I do it in one of the coolest and raddest places you can. And that helps as well. And everybody's on board. Everybody's buying into it, from sponsors to volunteers to festival goers. And it's definitely one of the coolest projects I've ever produced.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So what time of year is that? And then like, what's the plan for Bentonville Bike Fest this year then?
So we just had our edition during Memorial Weekend a few months ago in May. Next year, it's going to be June the 9th till the 14th. So we adding, we went from a small festival with maybe 30, 40 vendors and 400 athletes participating to now being close to having 6,000 people a day visiting, with around roughly 170 vendors from all over the country, from Shimano, Giant, Trek, Ari bikes. They're all there. Um,
Wow.
yeah, to having we're gonna add a live stream now, so it's gonna be all filmed and live streamed on international TV and international media platforms. So every year we're adding things and making it cooler, more fun. Now we have a team. It's called Summer Party. So everybody's gonna dress up like a little bit funky, having dance music, reggae, all that. So we always try to do something fresh, unique, cool, something the bike scene hasn't seen yet. We do it.
It's actually so cool. We got to go.
Yeah.
Mark that down.
You,
Yeah,
you have to go.
have to make it out this year.
It's only 8 hours.
Yeah, easy. It's more than for me. I have to fly
Yeah.
8 hours to Chicago and 4 hour layover.
Yeah.
And then an hour and a half more to get
Wow.
there. And then I'm jet lagged for 2 weeks. And when I get
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
I'm jet lagged for 2 weeks again. So
That sucks.
It's way easier for us.
So I'm a little curious then how you kind of monetize the whole thing. Are you selling spots to vendors or how do you monetize the whole process?
I mean, yeah, we have sponsorship coming in. We have exhibitors. We have merchandise, beer sales, rider registration, festival passes, VIP tickets. There's a lot,
That makes
but
sense.
there's also a lot of expenses. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I bet.
it's also very risk taking because every time the festival ends, the next day I commit to the next year. But actually, I never have the budget for it. I still gotta go find it. And if I think about it, that's how I've done it always in my career. You commit to your next career, your next season, but technically you still got to go find the sponsors and
Hmm.
hopefully you get the budget. But so far so good. I mean, we've managed every year, so I wouldn't see why it won't work with this. And the good thing about Bike Fest is, for the first time ever in my life, I have something mainstream that I'm producing.
Yeah.
While in the past, I always had to explain, push, bargain about, because trials is such a niche product. It's cool, but it's not mainstream.
Mhm.
Now, Bike Fest, it's a mainstream product with
Mhm.
mainstream sports, so that helps.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's awesome.
Okay, so what do you think then the future of trials biking and more mountain biking in general and your bike fest is going to look like, say, 5 years and 10 years and 30 years?
I think I don't know. I mean, if you look at all the competitions, they always look more and more professional. The way I think bike festivals, like the Bike Fest, the in-person events are going to have more and more value over the years because everything is so digital now. Social media, there's always this screen between reality and what you're actually seeing. So I think in-person events, emotions that you create with music, animation is never going to go away. So I think that's just going to keep growing as people are also using bikes for active transportation. So e-bikes, cargo bikes, commuters, all that is going to keep growing. Um, yeah, I think bikes is a good thing to to invest in, whether you're an organizer or actually somebody who just rides bikes. I think it's just a healthy way of transportation, and I think it's going to keep growing, keep booming, and being something really mainstream that everybody wants to be part of.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I kind of agree. You're making me want to get a trials bike now.
Yeah, do it. Get all the bikes: gravel,
Yeah.
trials, enduro, road.
There we go.
I need to do.
You got anything?
No, you got anything?
So we like to ask all our guests two questions. The first one is a more playful one. So what kind of music do you like to listen to?
And I think I'm a little bit of I like anything quality and with if it's quality and soul, if it has soul and quality, I like it. I am a big music fan. I used to buy since the age of 16 until still today. I've been buying CDs and then I took all my dad's long play vinyl, all the vinyls from the 80s and the 90s, all the rock and roll. I listened to those. I listened to heavy metal, grunge from the 90s and 2000s. Even listened to down like house, down tempo, chill music, you name it. I like almost every type of music. But if I'm working out, there's definitely metal and hard rock playing in my earpods.
That's awesome.
It's good.
Yeah,
Anything quality, and that's good enough.
anything quality and soul.
Yeah, there you go. And then our second question here is what advice would you give the two high schoolers like us who are 17 and 18 about to graduate high school and about to go into the world for the first time?
Take your time. I mean, you're so young. I'm still figuring it out. I feel like
Hmm.
don't don't take any fast decisions for opportunities that come on your path. Just try as many things as you can. Don't just stick to one thing in life. Maybe you graduated, in this particular domain, but that doesn't mean you got to do this for the rest of your life. Try. Don't be afraid to try new things. And always grab opportunities with two hands. And if it's a great one, never let go and focus on it and you know, make it your craft and make it your passion. And once you do something with passion, it's impossible to fail.
Hmm.
Wow,
That's very well put. Thank you, Kenny.
it's awesome.
Of course. Thanks
I
for your
gotta ask,
time, guys.
yeah, I gotta ask one more thing. So, I mean, obviously you became pretty successful in trials biking. Do you feel like you've like accomplished your dream in life? And then if you don't, like what would it take to like hit like, wow, like I made it. I did what I wanted, or have you hit that?
Um, uh, After my career, there was nothing else. I could do more or better. I mean, like I said, I grabbed every opportunity with two hands and squeezed the lemon, made the most out of it. There's nothing I can blame myself for. I couldn't make more money. I couldn't win more races. I've done absolutely my best in everything I did. And after that, my goal was to have a family, and I also have that now. And I think that's the most valuable thing. Having a kid and a wife and a home is probably something I thought was easy, but it's not. Having a kid is probably the hardest thing I've ever done, especially with somebody who has been free for so long.
Hmm.
But it's definitely the best thing that ever happened to me. So as life changes, your goals kind of shift and change. So, I can say until 5 to 6 years ago, all the sportive successes that was my ultimate dream.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I managed to do that. Then, from a business perspective, I needed something that was more sustainable, but still within my domain. So there's the Bike Fest. I established that. Um, then my kid and my family, and that's definitely on the long run. Overall, I think su- the biggest success I've ever had. Um, but to say right now at age 42, I've done everything in life that I wanted. I don't think so. I mean, there's still so much to do, and I don't have a specific goal. I just take opportunities day by day, make the most out of it, never look back, keep going. And as long as I can do that and be healthy, I think being healthy and doing what you love is probably my biggest treasure in life.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And grab an opportunity with both hands. I like that.
Always, if there's an opportunity, don't choose the easy way, choose the hard way, but grab that opportunity.
Wow.
That's amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kenny. This
Yeah.
is a great interview, and I'm just very glad that you could take some time out of your day to talk with us.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah. Where I am, it's already 10 p.m., so
Oh, really?
it's the end of my day anyway. I have nothing else to do here, so
Awesome.
uh, you guys are what, 3 p.m. or 2
Yeah.
p.m.?
I'm about to go up snowboarding next, so we're only starting
Oh
my day.
man, lucky guys. Enjoy and good luck with everything you do.